think so. She was in there getting in a cold tub, so she keeps saying I'll be fine. So.
What's going on, my Fly family? It's your boy Izzy. Welcome if you're new. Sophie Cunningham's injury scared everybody half the.
Stephanie White. This isn't your typical Sophie Cunningham injury update. Let me tell you, there's some real drama here. Twists, concerns, and some eyebrow-raising details that will definitely have fans talking. If you thought this was going to be a quick recovery story, think again. This update adds a whole new layer to the situation, and it's about to get way more intense than anyone expected. Indiana's fearless head coach, who could probably come up with a winning play in her sleep, just gave us a surprising update on Sophie Cunningham injury.
So Sophie Cunningham went down with what did not look like the greatest injury. She went down, rolled her ankle after landing on Ryan Howard's leg, which is not an ideal.
Stephanie White recently gave a significant update on Sophie Cunningham's injury, and believe me when I say that it's not your typical doom and gloom report. This isn't some heartbreaking sideline story where Sophie is wrapped in ice and self-pity. Rather, this is Sophie Cunningham, who is fiercely independent and completely allergic to backing down. The update is full of twists and a ton of unexpected energy rather than going into rehab mode. If you thought an injury would slow Sophie down, think again. This isn't a setback, rather it's fuel, and she's only getting started. If you support Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, then subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. Sophie is already planning her comeback as if it were a comeback mission. The GOAT down below is CC.
Let's talk to this game. Number one, the starters for Indiana were okay, right? We ended up seeing it change in the starting lineup. We saw Sophie Cunningham get the starting nod. However, Sophie Cunningham had to go out of the game. I forgot what half that was, if that was in the first half or the second half, but Sophie Cunningham was coming down. She was in the air, coming down. She ended up rolling her ankle on Ryan Howard's foot. She went out of the game, was on the bench for a little while, and I believe she went to the locker room, but she did not return back.
When news of Sophie Cunningham's injury first broke, many people wondered if her season was over, or if she would decide to heal quietly and play it safe. But Sophie's tenacity showed that she's ready to face anything that comes her way. She's not the type to wait around for a quick fix or rely on luck to get back in the game. Instead, she faces setbacks head on and works even harder to come back stronger. Sophie Cunningham is truly in a league of her own. She's more than just a talented player and a true warrior on the court.
Everybody know, yes, Sophie Cunningham got injured. Okay, she got injured. She landed on her ankle the wrong way. Let's go ahead and look through the play right now. All right, so here she is here, coming for the rebound, boom, and lands on Ryan Howard's foot the wrong way, and she was.
If you've been following Cunningham's career, you already know the answer. Sophie doesn't wait for approval or the ideal opportunity to return. Instead, she charges back into the game with unwavering energy, leaving opponents in her dust. This injury update isn't about her sitting on the sidelines. Rather, it's about her inspiring everyone by turning what could have been a setback into a display of strength and tenacity. Sophie repeatedly demonstrates that she is a true game changer, who is prepared to rise even stronger.
Sophie Cunningham obviously played the entire game with them saying that she was Lexi Hull. Everything Sophie Cunningham did was Lexi Hull. Everything Lexi Hull did was Sophie Cunningham. The answers literally mixed the two of them up for the whole game. But she was down. She went down pretty hard. And one thing I will say that I was pretty happy about was that it didn't appear that Lexi Hull was, or say that Sophie Cunningham, geez, now I'm mixing them up after the announcers did. It didn't appear that Sophie Cunningham was like she couldn't put weight on.
Sophie Cunningham is more than just an athlete recovering from an injury when she returns to the court. She is a formidable force of nature poised to upend everything. Anyone who questions her fortitude or strength will quickly realize they have underestimated a true warrior who is returning stronger than ever thanks to unwavering resolve and a fierce spirit of competition. Sophie is more than simply a typical athlete. She is a contemporary superhero who personifies tenacity, resilience, and unrelenting determination. situation. Her impact is equally powerful even if her cape is swapped out for a basketball jersey. Her strong, muscular body appears capable of bench pressing a vehicle, and she plays with the same unadulterated strength and intensity. Her speed on the court is astounding. Sophie's unwavering energy and focus are evident. She moves with purpose like a freight train, unstoppable in its path, and her presence alone commands attention. Her strength and agility make her a force to be reckoned with, whether she's breaking through the game's noise or locking down defensively driving to the hoop. Her reappearance is more than just a comeback. It's a statement that she is here to rule, to motivate, and to demonstrate that she is an unstoppable force.
To this game. So I hope that Sophie Cunningham is okay. Again, you know, it looks like a rolled ankle, so hopefully it's not too bad. Maybe she's out for a day or so, but yeah, we'll see. We'll find out an update from the Indiana Fever. But Sophie Cunningham did go out of the game.
Sophie Cunningham is the ideal illustration if you ever need evidence that the Indiana Fever are more than just a team. They are an unstoppable force of nature. She is more than simply a player. She is the spark that ignites the storm. The team might easily adopt the motto, "We're here to dominate." Furthermore, Sophie would be the first to firmly respond, absolutely. What makes her unique is her attitude. She blends the ferocious intensity of a lion with the lightning-fast agility of a gazelle, giving opponents the impression that they are attempting to capture a shooting star. Sophie doesn't back down from a challenge. She doesn't care if she gets knocked down or slammed to the ground, as she was in the most recent Mystic game. More on that later, and instead she seems to think, "That was fun, let's do it again." She effortlessly gets to her feet as though gravity were merely a suggestion rather than a law. Sophie Cunningham is a live example of what it means to overcome everything and emerge stronger because of her tenacity and boundless energy, which make her a formidable force on the court. She symbolizes the spirit of a natural disaster.
And that's a positive thing. She was like trying to see if she could get back in the game. Obviously, they're not dumb. They're not going to put her back into a preseason game. But she was trying to get back into the game, which is big. If we're honest, that is genuinely big. But as well as that, we've now heard Stephanie White talking.
Let's be clear, Sophie Cunningham is a unique woman who has endured more abuse than a crash test dummy and yet shows up every night ready to go. She doesn't just play with grit, she plays as though she has something to prove, and that something is "you can't stop me." She brings the energy of a storm and the resolve of someone pursuing their dreams to every game. And now that she has this injury, she isn't even close to waving the white flag. While most people would be moping, Sophie's injury isn't some career-ending catastrophe. Rather, it's just another obstacle. She's already assessing herself like a final boss. She's not emotionally or mentally sidelined and is planning her comeback with laser-like focus. The Sophie Cunningham show isn't over yet. It's just a break, and you can bet your bottom dollar that she will return to the court with a bang.
That moment, everybody was scared in the live stream, man. I was holding my breath. My face was fixed a certain way that looked crazy. I mean, we were scared in there, okay? Now, the main thing is, yes, she twisted her ankle, okay? And she was out for the rest of the game. But she is okay, all right? It did look like it could have been something worse because of how she landed, and it was like more so of an Achilles looking stretch instead of a twisted sideways foot. So that's what scared, that's what scared me. But nonetheless, man, it came out that it was a twisted ankle and she was okay, and she was just gonna sit out for the rest.
Stephanie White, the fearless captain of the Indiana Fever, is most likely relaxing in her office chair at the moment, sporting her signature expression of composed assurance. This is because she is aware that she has a warrior in Cunningham. Sophie, let's not mince words. Sophie is a game changer, not just another name on the roster. Injuries, intense playoff competitions, and stressful situations. None of that bothers Sophie because when she's on the court, she's not just playing. She's establishing the mood, controlling the energy, and pulling her team to the finish line if necessary. She's the player who dives for loose balls, runs coast to coast, and plays as though every possession is her last because you can't coach that kind of hunger. Stephanie White is aware that it comes easily, which is why you don't hear terror. Emanating from Indiana, they have a player who thrives in hardship, who uses setbacks as inspiration and suffering as strength. Sophia isn't seeking sympathy, rather she is demanding respect. Yes, she may be recovering from an injury, but don't assume for a moment that this means she is giving up. If anything, it's just another chapter in the legend she is creating, one that is full of grit, fire, and an unwavering will. Stephanie, White is more than simply a player. She is a force to be reckoned with. Sophie Cunningham has come to dominate the game.
Sophie Cunningham started in her place, which was an interesting wrinkle before the game. Cunningham actually stepped on somebody's foot and turned her ankle and had to leave the game, though Stephanie White said afterwards that Cunningham said she'll be fine. So that's the update from Sophie Cunningham, and it was a run-of-the-mill step on the foot ankle injury.
Let's talk about that mysterious game. You know, the one you probably still play in your head like a movie highlight reel. Sophie didn't just take a hit though. This wasn't your normal foul where the player falls, shakes it off, and continues playing. Rather, it was a pivotal moment, as though the universe itself stopped and considered, let's see how tough Sophie really is. What happened next? Pure legend. Some players might have collapsed under the impact, kneeling on the hardwood to nurse their aching bodies in pride. But Sophie, nope, was flattened and slammed to the ground like a rag doll. Rather than lingering there and taking in the sympathy of the audience, Sophie did something amazing. She got herself up with a look that said, "Is that all you've got?" She rose like a phoenix, perhaps trying out for the position of the most fearless player on the court. That moment wasn't just a demonstration of resiliency. It was a declaration of Sophie Cunningham's unbreakable spirit and fierce determination. She showed everyone what it really means to overcome adversity and emerge stronger every time with this intense stare that could probably melt steel. You truly believed you could take me down that easily.
And it's getting ugly already out there. There was a couple of ugly fouls. And the retards, as I like to call them, the RAHTARDSs.
And then the real magic happened. Sophie didn't just get up, she turned into a force to be reckoned with. She took that fall and faced adversity head on, then boldly said, "Nice try, but I've been through worse and come out stronger." That's the kind of player every team wants. Someone who doesn't give up at the first hint of trouble, but instead faces obstacles with grit and resilience. She smirks when things get tough, stands tall, and declares, "This is my court." Let's be honest, Sophie is more than just a vital member of the team. She is their heartbeat, secret weapon, and very soul. Without her, the team would be like a pizza without cheese. Still present, perhaps even appealing in certain areas, but lacking that essential component that elevates everything. Have you ever had a pizza without cheese? It's just bread with a few toppings, flat, boring, and uninspired. Sophie is the glue that keeps everything together, transforming a strong team into an unstoppable force. She is that melted, gooey, and vital component. Her enthusiasm, drive, and resolve inspire everyone around her, turning everyday experiences into genuinely remarkable ones. Sophie is the driving force behind the team's survival, growth, and readiness to take on any challenge.
Worried about Sophie Cunningham. I hope she feels better. I'm gonna call it out. I saw what happened. So
when she's on the court, it's like seeing a master chef in the kitchen. Every action is purposeful, accurate, and genuinely effortless, astounding. However, when she's not playing, all you get is a bewildering assortment of toppings and a crust that's too difficult to even savor. Without Sophie, the Fever are unquestionably a different team. It would be like attempting to build a house without a strong foundation, unstable, shaky, and unlikely to last over time. Do you really think the Fever are serious contenders without Sophie? It would be like asking a fish to climb a tree. It might try, but it isn't made for it. Even if it managed, it wouldn't be accomplishing its intended purpose. Sophie is the Fever's heartbeat. Without her, the team lacks rhythm, flow, and edge. She provides the drive, concentration, and talent that uplifts everyone around her. And without her, the group feels lacking, as if something essential is missing. Sophie is more than just a player. She is the driving force behind the Fever's continued growth.
They are already now attacking Sophie Cunningham. Oh, they're mad. The MAGA Barbies got them angry. They're cheering on violence against this basketball player. Sophie Cunningham just got through.
Simply put, Sophie is the hidden hero who makes everything seem effortless. But without her, the Fever are just another team lost in a sea of mediocrity. She's the game changer, the player who elevates the team from pretty good to we're about to dominate. This league losing her isn't just losing a key player, it's losing the heartbeat and soul of the team. And no one understands this better than Sophie herself. She doesn't just show up to play, she shows up to dominate every game. She's out there ready to take on anything and confident in her abilities. When opponents glance her way, they don't see someone they can easily outmatch. They see someone who's practically daring them to try. Sophie isn't just participating, she's playing with a fearless attitude that makes her opponents second guess their choices. Her presence on the court is magnetic. Her confidence infectious. She's the kind of player who transforms the game, pushing her team to new heights and making everyone else rise to her level.
Being back in the Midwest, you got a little taste of winter in the middle of March and April. That's always fun.
Heck yeah, after practice yesterday, they had scalloped potatoes and meatloaf, and I was like, I am back in the Midwest, and I love it. So I'm all here. I'm for it.
Sophie is very clear about one thing. She is here to excel in the game, not just to survive it. The Fever need players with this fierce energy on their side, not players who avoid injuries or hesitate to dive for the ball. They need warriors who thrive in chaos, roll with the punches, and get stronger every time. When there's a chance of harm, Sophie exemplifies this brave spirit by always pushing forward and never backing down. If a tackle knocks her down, she only takes a moment to get back up and resumes her finest game. Sophie grins and continues. You think that's going to stop me? Please, I'm just getting started, without even flinching. With Sophie's brave thinking leading the charge, the Fever will undoubtedly succeed because of her unwavering attitude, which is precisely what they need to overcome challenges and reach the top. More videos are now available on the screen if you liked and subscribed.